Nina lived in a vibrant neighborhood where the sounds of children laughing and birds chirping usually filled the air. But there was one sound that had begun to grate on her ears, the gurgling of the stream that ran at the edge of her street. Once a lively ribbon of clear water, it had become sluggish and murky, its gentle babble replaced by a dull, almost choked sound. Nina had always loved this stream. As a younger child, she'd spent countless hours there, mesmerized by the darting minnows and the way sunlight danced on its surface. She'd built dams of pebbles and watched fallen leaves sail downstream like tiny boats. But lately, the stream had become a source of concern. The change had been gradual at first, a few stray plastic bottles here, a discarded food wrapper there, but over time, the litter had accumulated. Now, the stream bed was littered with plastic bags clinging to rocks like ghostly jellyfish, aluminum cans glinting dully beneath the surface, and a disturbing film of something oily that shimmered in the weak sunlight. What troubled Nina most were the stream's inhabitants. She had once seen schools of tiny silver fish flashing through the clear water. Now she rarely saw any. Occasionally, she'd spot a listless frog sitting on a slimy rock, its skin looking dull and unhealthy. Once, she'd even found a small bird struggling in the shallows, its feathers coated in a dark, sticky substance. A knot of worry tightened in Nina's chest. This wasn't just unsightly, it felt wrong. The stream, once a source of life and beauty, was becoming sick. Driven by her concern, Nina decided to investigate. She carefully walked along the stream bank, observing the different types of pollution. She saw plastic of all kinds, from single-use bags to broken toys. There were discarded food containers, their contents long gone, and even some larger items like old tires partially submerged in the muddy water. As she peered closer, she noticed something truly disturbing. Near a drain pipe that emptied into the stream from further up the street, the oily sheen was particularly thick. The water here had a strange, unpleasant odor, different from the earthy smell of healthy water. That evening, Nina did some research online. She typed in effects of water pollution and was confronted with a barrage of alarming information. She learned that polluted water wasn't just unpleasant to look at, it could be actively harmful. Chemicals and toxins in the water could make it unsuitable for drinking, even after treatment. She read about how pollutants could disrupt the delicate balance of aquatic ecosystems, poisoning fish and other marine life, leading to disease and even death. A particularly upsetting article detailed how plastic waste in water sources could be ingested by fish and other animals, either directly or as it broke down into harmful microplastics. These microplastics could then enter the food chain, potentially even affecting humans. The oily sheen she had seen was likely petroleum-based, which she learned was toxic to aquatic life, suffocating fish and damaging their habitats. The more Nina learned, the more determined she became to do something about the noisy, now sickly stream. The next day, armed with a pair of old gardening gloves and a large trash bag, Nina began her cleanup efforts. She started near her house, carefully picking up the visible litter along the bank. It was slow and disheartening work. For every piece of trash she collected, it seemed there were two more lurking beneath the surface or tangled in the reeds. She managed to fill her first trash bag fairly quickly, but as she looked further upstream, the sheer scale of the pollution overwhelmed her. It was more than one person could handle. Realizing she needed help, Nina decided to talk to her friends. At school the next day, she approached Maya and Liam, two classmates who shared her passion for nature. "Guys," she said, her voice filled with concern, "the stream near my house is really polluted. It's making the animals sick, and it's just getting worse." Maya, always empathetic, frowned. "Oh no, that's terrible. I've walked past it before, but I didn't realize it was that bad." Liam, more pragmatic, asked, "What can we do about it? It sounds like a big job." Nina explained her initial cleanup attempt and how quickly she had become overwhelmed. "I think we need to organize a bigger cleanup. We need to get more people involved." Convincing others wasn't easy. Some of their classmates shrugged, saying it wasn't their problem or that the stream was just a dirty ditch anyway. Others were more sympathetic but hesitant, citing busy schedules or a lack of interest in picking up trash. Nina didn't give up. She created simple posters with drawings of sad-looking fish and polluted water, highlighting the impact on wildlife and the unpleasant sight and smell. She talked to her neighbors, explaining what she had learned about the dangers of water pollution. She even approached Mr. Davies, a retired science teacher who lived on her street, and he offered to lend his expertise and enthusiasm to the cause. Slowly but surely, Nina's passion began to spark interest in others. Maya and Liam were her steadfast allies, helping her spread the word. Miss Davies helped her understand the flow of the stream and where the pollution was likely originating. A few other classmates, inspired by Nina's determination, agreed to join. Finally, they set a date for the stream cleanup day. Nina, with help from her friends and Mr. Davies, organized the event. They gathered extra gloves and trash bags, and Mr. Davies even contacted the local council, who agreed to provide larger bins for the collected waste. On the designated Friday morning, Nina felt a mix of nervousness and excitement as she waited by the stream. Slowly, people began to arrive. Her friends, some of their classmates, a few curious neighbors, and even a couple of families with young children. Working together, the group spread out along the stream banks. They carefully collected plastic bottles, cans, wrappers, and other debris. Some ventured into the shallow water with boots to retrieve larger items. It was hard work, and the smell was often unpleasant, but there was a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose among the volunteers. As they worked, Mr. Davies pointed out the different types of pollution and explained their potential sources and harmful effects. He showed them how the oily film clung to the rocks and explained how it could suffocate insects and disrupt the entire food web. He emphasized that clean water is essential not only for the animals in the stream, but also for the health of the wider environment. By the end of the day, the transformation was remarkable. The stream banks were visibly cleaner, and while some embedded pollution remained, the sheer volume of trash removed was astounding. The murky water still wasn't crystal clear, but the oily sheen had lessened in many areas, and the unpleasant odor wasn't as strong. In the days and weeks that followed, Nina and her core group of volunteers continued their efforts, focusing on areas where pollution seemed to be consistently entering the stream, like the drain pipe further upstream. They discovered that some businesses and individuals were carelessly disposing of waste that eventually made its way into the water. Nina, with Mr. Davies' guidance, decided to take another step. They created informative flyers about the impact of water pollution and responsible waste disposal, distributing them to homes and businesses in the area. They even spoke to the local council again, highlighting the ongoing pollution and requesting stricter regulations and public awareness campaigns. Slowly, things began to change. More people became aware of the stream's plight and started being more careful about their waste disposal. Some businesses near the drain pipe took steps to prevent pollutants from entering the waterway. As the seasons turned, Nina noticed a subtle but significant difference in the stream. The water seemed a little clearer, and she even spotted a few of the tiny silver fish returning to the shallows. The frogs looked healthier, and the birds drank from the edge without hesitation. The dull gurgle was slowly being replaced by a gentler, more melodic sound. One sunny afternoon, Nina sat by the stream, watching a dragonfly with iridescent wings flit over the water. The stream wasn't perfectly pristine, but it was undeniably healthier, a testament to the collective effort of her community, sparked by her initial concern. She knew the work wasn't over, but she felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had given the noisy stream a chance to sing a cleaner, clearer tune. Here are some lessons that I hope you learned today. Water pollution has far-reaching negative consequences, not just making water unsightly, but also rendering it unsafe for drinking and devastating aquatic life. The story highlighted the dangers to fish, birds, and the overall ecosystem. Even seemingly small amounts of pollution can accumulate and cause significant harm to water sources. The gradual buildup of litter in the stream demonstrated this. Individual initiative and raising awareness are crucial first steps in addressing environmental problems. Nina's initial concern and her efforts to educate others were the catalysts for change. Teamwork and community involvement are essential for tackling larger environmental issues. The Stream Cleanup Day showed the power of collective action. Advocacy and education can lead to long-term solutions. Nina and Mr. Davies' efforts to inform the community and engage with the local council aimed at preventing future pollution. Take a moment to think about the water sources in your community: rivers, lakes, streams, even puddles. Have you ever noticed any signs of pollution? Observe what is happening. Pay attention to the clarity, smell, and any visible debris in your local water bodies. Are there any animals that seem unwell or absent? Learn more about how you can play your part. Research the potential sources and effects of water pollution in your area. What are the common pollutants, and how do they impact the environment and human health? Everyone has a part to play in saving the environment. Even small actions can make a difference. Properly dispose of your waste, avoid using single-use plastics, and never pour harmful substances down drains. Speak up so we can prevent problems or improve exiting problems. If you see pollution, report it to the appropriate authorities or raise awareness among your friends and family. Get involved, as there is something you can do to help. Look for local cleanup initiatives or consider organizing one yourself, like Nina did. Remember, clean water is vital for all life. By taking responsibility for our actions and working together, we can protect and restore these precious resources, ensuring a healthier future for ourselves and the planet. If you found Nina's story inspiring and learned about the importance of clean water, please like this video and share it with others. Leave a comment below about what you can do to help keep our water sources clean. Subscribe to Adventures of Nina for more stories about environmental stewardship and making a positive impact in our communities. Let's all work together to ensure our waters sing a clean and healthy melody.